Hi y'all, good evening. So today is day 2 of my 30 lives, and today we are going to talk about brushes. But before I go on brushes, everybody's probably wondering what's on my face. And so right now I have a skin polish by Lime Life, and it's a lemon and jojoba bead face mask. And basically after I washed my face, I used the Dream Clean face wash from Lime Life, and it helps remove my makeup. I put on the skin polish, and you just put it on your face and you apply it pretty generously and you rub it in for about 30 seconds, and then you leave it on for about 10-15 minutes till it dries, and then you rinse it off. And it's a skin polish, and it just hydrates your face, takes away any impurities and stuff like that. And I like to do it 2-3 times a week, and so tonight's the night that I'm gonna do it. But I'm gonna share with y'all brushes. That's the one thing I've heard a lot of people say is there's so many brushes and what does each brush do. And I remember when I started doing makeup, I was very basic. I'd use the sponges for my eyeshadows, and I'd use the, I think I actually have some of them, these for applying my foundation, the little CoverGirl compacts and stuff like that. And I'd have my mascara, a little bit of blush, and my lip gloss. Very, very basic. And now there's just so many different things and so many different brushes, and I'm gonna go over a few of my favorite brushes and like must have, and also some that, you know, other people really like. The first thing that I'm gonna start out with is the liquid foundation brush. The foundation brush is a thicker, how do I explain it? When you're talking about the foundation brush, it's going to be synthetic bristles. You want to look for one that has synthetic bristles. And sorry, I grabbed the wrong brush. I want to make sure I grab the right brush because I have a million brushes laid out right now, and I still have some actually in my brush roll that I didn't even lay out. So as you can see, these are the brushes that I'm not going to be talking about tonight, but we'll talk about on another night. And I have a whole layout of brushes and must-haves for mine. So this is a foundation brush. Synthetic bristles, a little bit thicker, more firm. This is also another type of foundation brush. So as you can see, there's 2 different types of foundation brushes. You want them firm, but the bristles still move, and you want them to be synthetic bristles. Next thing, when it comes to facial care, there's hundreds of different masks out there. There's a charcoal mask, there's these new brightening masks that are coming out, there's the skin polish, and something you can take your hands and apply it, but when you use your hands you tend to waste a lot of product. And one of the tools that I must have in my makeup kit is a silicone applicator brush. This silicone applicator brush, as you can tell, it's just a piece of silicone. It makes for a smooth application of those masks, and it also uses a lot less product, so it saves you money in the long run. And also it's easier because when you think about it, if you're putting on a face mask and you're touching it with your hands, you're putting that oil and all that stuff into that container. And so by using this, that kind of takes away from that. And so that's my silicone applicator brush. The next brush that's important is the blush brush. And a blush brush should be wide enough to cover the apple portion of the cheek. And for those of you that don't know, the apple portion of the cheek is this little area of the cheek right here. And so this is one of the blush brushes that I use. I don't have, I'm actually showing my brushes from my makeup kit. I don't normally use these unless I'm using them to work on schooling and stuff. And so since they were my cleanest brushes, because the other ones are getting clean tonight, I brought it out. And so as you can see, the blush brush is beveled, as they call it. and it's soft. You don't want it too stiff. It should have natural bristles so that the powder can deposit onto your face smoothly. And the edges should be curved and beveled off. And the reason why they're saying curved and beveled off is because it makes for a more natural application look. And so that's something important when it comes to blush, is you want your blush to look natural, because if not, it looks too bright and it doesn't look like it belongs. The next thing is a bronzer brush. Now, a bronzer brush is similar to a blush brush. That was a tongue twister. But the bronzer brush, excuse me, the bronzer brush is a little bit, I think I'm catching a cold because it's starting to get cold over here in Washington State. It's thicker and fuller, and the bristles are more dense than the blush brush. And so that's the difference between a bronzer and a blush brush. And so, as you can see, the bronzer brush is just flat. It doesn't have that beveled edge and that curve, but the blush brush does. The next brush that's important is, and the big thing that's going on right now, is eyebrows. And this is a brow brush. And as you can see, the tip on the brow brush is curved. And that allows for easier application. And it should have short, stiffer bristles. You don't want loose bristles, because then if you have loose bristles when it comes to the eyebrow brush, you're going to get your powder everywhere. And it allows for a smoother, thinner line and better application. And so when you're looking for a good eyebrow brush, you want to make sure that those bristles are dense and that they're also more stiff. The next thing that is two different things, the brow grooming brush as well as the eyelash comb. Usually they'll come in like this. So this is the brow grooming brush, and this kind of just set your brows how you want them to be. And this is for your eyelashes. This helps to separate them. Sometimes if the mascara clumps, or if you put a conditioner on before the mascara, this will help to kind of separate them. And so that's another must-have that I use on a daily basis. The next brush that I have is the concealer brush. And it is right. Sorry, I'm grabbing brushes and stuff as we go. So if I keep looking up and down, that's why. The concealer brush should have firm but soft bristles. The reason being, it's often applied to delicate areas such as under the eyes. And so you don't want something that's too harsh, because then, hi Sharon, nice to see you. You don't want something too harsh, but you don't want something too soft, because what happens if it's too soft, it's not going to spread the concealer the way you want it, but if it's too hard, it's going to irritate your eyes. And so as you can see, it's just a small brush, stiff but not too stiff. And again, that's the concealer brush. Now the next brush is my favorite brush of all time, and I recommend that everybody has this brush. And this is the blender brush. I cannot live without my blender brush, and this does amazing things. It should be soft and fluffy. You don't want it to be stiff, and it usually should be made with natural bristles. They're supposed to be longer than normal, because what they do is it helps to blend the eyeshadow, eliminating the lines. And it's also used to apply powder for setting correctors. So it's not just for the blending. You can use it to apply powder over, cover up, like blemish makeup. Like say you're trying to cover up the your bags under your eyes, and you use a yellow tinted concealer, then you could use the corrective powder with the blending brush, and it'll go on and make it fine, so you won't have that lumpy look. The blending brush can be used for highlighting. There's several different things that the brush can be used for. So I recommend anyone that doesn't have a blending brush that they get one. Like I said, it's my I can't live without brush. So the next one is the eye contour brush, and this brush is round and flat, and the short dense bristles right here they deposit a concentrated amount of powdered eye makeup in the crease of the eye. And so this helps to lead to a shape contouring effect. And so you want to make sure that they're short, dense bristles. And that's the eye contour brush. And that's going to be like when you put the eye makeup in the crease, this is where this brush should be used. So in the crease of my eye to give it that extra look. Now remember, when I talked about the crease of your eye, everybody's crease is different. So you got to figure out where your crease is. If I were to close my eyes, I couldn't tell where my crease is. But when my eyes are open, I can find my crease. And that's because I have hooded eyes. But somebody else may not have hooded eyes and their crease is just visible and they can just go like that. So it's kind of different for each person and the way it works. The next brush that I'm going to bring out is the eye shader brush. And the shader brush, let me find it. It's going to have a wide, sorry, I'm pulling out my brushes from the brush thing and through my, I have my brush bag, I have my little jar, I have my brushes laid out over here. Hi Veronica, nice to see you. And this is my shader brush. Okay, so I found my shader brush, and as you can see, it's wide with a flat head, and usually you want it made from natural bristles. And you just gently sweep it across the eyeshadow for color over the entire lid. So this is more for like something on the lid. So this would cover up the lid. So the first brush I showed you was for the crease. Now this is the brush that I'd want to use on the lid. The next one is the eyeshadow brush, and the eyeshadow brush should be made of soft natural bristles and wide enough to cover about half of the eyelid. So it's a little bit bigger of a brush than the shader, and the eyeshadow brush you'd use up here. And so as you can see, this is a bigger brush, and this would be more for applying to the brow bone, up to the brow bone. And remember the trick that I told you about finding where your brow bone is? Your brow bone's not where your eyebrows are at. Your brow bone's actually below your eyebrows. So you can actually feel where your eye and the bone is if you touch it. And so that's where my brow bone is. And so I'd use this applying eyeshadow on my brow bone. And this again is called the eyeshadow brush. So the next brush is the eye smudger brush, and this is used for the smoky eye effect. And so it's a smaller brush with denser bristles, and when you're doing it, it allows it to give, I guess, better coverage. It allows the color to go on darker, and it works really well if you want to do the smoky eye look to get in the creases of your eyes. Now keep in mind, you don't have to have every single brush that I'm showing you to do amazing looks. I mean, you can have 2 or 3 brushes and still pull off an amazing look. I see it done every day. So, you know, the more brushes, the better coverage, because each brush to me does something different. It fulfills a different purpose. Some brushes hold more of the makeup and some hold a little bit less and do it a little bit finer. So the next thing I want to talk about is an eyelash curler. Back in the 90s when I was doing makeup, when I first started doing makeup, I used to do this after putting on my mascara. And something that I learned is when you put on your mascara first and then you do the eyelash curler, you're actually doing more damage to your eyes and your eyelashes than if you would do the curler first. And the reason being is when you have the mascara on, the eyelash curler can break your lashes, and you don't want that to happen. And so if you do use an eyelash curler, which I don't because my lashes naturally curl, I use this for my schooling, but if you do use it, make sure that you use it before you put on your mascara, just to protect your eyelashes. The next thing that is a must-have in tools is tweezers. Tweezers are important because they allow for you to clean up your eyebrows or anywhere that you may need to tweeze. They work wonders. It's great to have slanted, but it's also great to have a flat pair, because depending on what you need to use them for, The tweezers work for different situations. The flat I like to do more here on my eyes because they're more poofy, and where it's more firm on my eyes, I like to use the slanted on the arch because I feel like I can get a little bit better control. The next thing is this weird little tweezer thing. I don't know if people's seen this little tweezer thing, but what this is used for is to apply fake lashes. Fake lashes, we're going to actually do a live on that. I am horrible. Whenever I try to apply them on myself, they'll end up on my cheek, on my forehead, and everywhere else than where they're supposed to be. I can put them on anybody else just fine, but fake eyelashes and lash extensions and all that are in right now. And so, like I said, this is a little tool to make it a little bit easier. You just put the eyelash on there and just kind of sits on your eyelid and you can put it on easy. And so this is kind of a neat little tool to have, and it makes putting on fake lashes a lot easier. Next important tool to have that I think people use daily is a pencil sharpener. And I like one, as you can see, that has 2 different sizes, because makeup can come in thinner, like more like a pencil, but they also come in like the thicker pencil crayons. And so you want to make sure that you have a sharpener that's universal, so that you're able to sharpen your pens and stuff like that in your pencils. Next important thing is having a facial moisturizer. One thing is, makeup is fun and all, and I love putting it on, but it's also important to take care of your skin. And before, I used to not realize how important it was. I just, wake up in the morning, wash my face, throw on my foundation, my powder, a little bit of makeup, and then I'd be ready and I'd go out the house. But what I didn't realize is that I was doing more damage to my skin than I was doing good. And so something that is important to me is taking care of my skin. And before I do any makeup application, I always make sure to moisturize. And one of the things that I've been using lately is called Cool Balm, and it's by Lime Life. So as you can see, it's just a little thing, and literally all it takes is one little squirt. I'm going to feel so bad wasting this, but actually I'm not. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But anyway, so all that one little squirt will cover my whole face. And so sometimes it's not quantity, but it's quality. And I really see the quality in this. To me, it's relaxing, it's soothing, and it's also moisturizing my face at the same time, so that when I do put on my makeup, I know that my face is going to be protected and moisturized. Another thing that I also put on before applying my makeup in the morning is Due Date. And this is just Palmarosa and Sunflower face oil. And my internet was doing that the other day. I couldn't even get on share, so I completely understand. It happens all the time with the internet. The internet is just, it's something else. This is nice because it's an oil-based blend, instantly absorbs into the skin to achieve a dewy, healthy-looking glow. I like to put this on after the moisturizer. I wait a few minutes just to let the moisturizer sink in, and then I'll put this on, and then I'll get, dressed or something, and then I'll start putting my makeup on. And this just gives me like a natural glow. And so the nice thing about this is a lot of time when I use this, I don't have to put on foundation, because my skin, with me taking care of my skin properly, and if I just apply this, I'm able to still feel confident in my own skin, and my face just looks great and feels amazing, and I have that natural glow. And so that's another, product that's important to me, and a must-have that I need to have in my makeup kit. And last but not least is brush cleaner. I don't know how much I can stress, especially since we're talking about brushes and the different things that they do. Brush cleaner is extremely, extremely important. Whether you clean your brushes with soap and water, or whether you get a instant brush cleaner such as this, or you get I mean, I've seen all different types of things where you stick it in the jar and then you just take it out and you spread it and it cleans. But I can't stress enough that a good brush cleaner is important. Not only because it keeps your brushes clean and it doesn't blend the colors, but it also keeps any type of infection or any type of bacteria from getting into your eyes, and that's something that's important. Also, another thing with mascara is when I get my mascaras and I first open them, I write what date I open them, and the reason being is because I do not keep my mascara for more than 90 days. 90 days is what they say is the recommended time to throw out your mascara. So if you're not going and changing your mascara every 90 days, I'd really recommend it, because every time you use it and you're putting it back in, that allows for more bacteria to grow. And a way to prevent the bacteria from growing is, instead of when you put your mascara wand and pumping it in, like I don't want to do it to mine because I don't like to, but you know how you can take it and pump it? When you're using your mascara, just kind of open it and twist it like this, and it'll still get the same amount of mascara as if you were pumping it. And so I didn't do any of that pumping. It may take a little bit more time, but just twisting it out will give me that same amount, but it also preserves it because it doesn't take out a bunch of extra. This is actually my go-to mascara. It's funny that I pulled this out because I have a ton of different mascaras in my thing, and this was the first one I pulled out, and this is actually my favorite, the Perfect Mascara, because one coat and I just have amazing lashes. And that's something that's important to me, is having amazing lashes, because for me, something that I learned is that when I want to do makeup, I want my most important or my most liked feature to stand out. And something that I really like is my eye color. And so it's important that my eyes, you know, stand out and make a statement. And so when I apply makeup, I tend to focus more on my eyes and the dramatic look per se than making the rest of my face, you know, dramatic. I can't get away with the red lip look like some people can, and other people it looks amazing. And something that I learned about makeup as I get off tonight that I want to share with you all, that I thought about, and doing makeup isn't about, you know, copying somebody else or, you know, looking at all these lives and trying to recreate somebody's look. You know, it's doing something different, something that's you and something that's unique. And so when you do your makeup the next time, don't be afraid to do something different. Don't be afraid to, you know, be bold, go out, you know, do a different look. For those of you that didn't watch yesterday, I got on and I actually did a Green Bay Packers look because my Packers were playing. And so I thought, hey, cool, I'm going to do something different rather than just do a basic makeup look. And sometimes it's okay to be different. You know, there's nothing wrong with being different. And, you know, that's what I want to do is, you know, make a statement. You know, this is who I am. You know, this is what makes me stand out and what makes me different. And so I just want to first of all thank y'all for coming out tonight and watching my live, learning a little bit more about brushes and, you know, the different tools that you use when applying makeup and why each one plays an important role. And I look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow. Like I said, this is my second day of my 30 days of live, and I'm just really excited about it. I'm really excited about the journey I'm on. It's kind of a life-changing experience because you actually kind of get a look into yourself as who you are, and bring out your creative side. Remember, your face is a blank canvas and you can do whatever you want with it. So just keep that in mind, and everyone have a great night, and I will see y'all tomorrow, and it'll be a little bit earlier. It's kind of late now, but I had physical therapy, and so it kind of put me off schedule. And so I'm hoping to do my lives weekly, well, actually daily, because I'm doing 30 days of lives around 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So have a great night, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.